Thanks for joining us. We are the Center for Leadership and Community Engagement at Central Washington University. I'm Kylie Wright, and I am a senior majoring in business administration with a specialization in marketing, and I am minoring in event management.
How's it going, Wildcats? My name is Tommy Fernandez, and I am majoring in ITAM with a specialization in cybersecurity, and I'm a junior here at Central.
So Word to the Wildcats is a 5-week series designed to provide space for notable CW alumni and CW educators to share stories of growth, resilience, and leadership with the current Wildcat student body. Through Word to the Wildcats, we hope to share relatable life lessons that current CW students and community members can apply to their personal story. Today we have Quincy Jones, an amazing stand-up comedian and one of our very own CW Wildcats. Thanks so much for joining, and now we'll pass it over to Quincy to share his story.
Hey everybody, what up? It's Quincy. Happy to be here. Thank you, Kylie. Thank you, Tom, for having me. Thank you, Amber, for orchestrating this. I went to Central Washington from about 2008 to 2010. It was way different back then, okay? Like way different back then. I think the football stadium was just getting rebuilt or something like that. I actually started doing comedy when I was in college there. First time I ever went on stage was like 21. And then the next time I decided to start doing it was when I was at Central. I knew I was going to be funny. And so I knew that's what I wanted to do. You know, like it was just like when you perform, you either get like a high or you don't after your first. The high is like, oh, I want to do this again. I can't wait for the next film. Or the non-high is like, I'm good. I don't ever have to do this again. I tried. It's not for me, whatever, right? And so I was doing it while I was out there. I actually did a comedy competition in Yakima, probably at a now defunct comedy club. But there was a comedy club out there. I did a competition out there. So there was that. I have cancer. I have a rare form of cancer called peritoneal mesothelioma. Yes, it's the infomercial ones that you hear late at night where you or someone you know or love have been exposed to blah, blah, blah. It's not a normal type of cancer where it like forms a bunch of cells and like they can like radiate and then operate and take it out. This one is in the lining of my organ, so they can't ever get it all the way out. So there's no cure. So I got diagnosed with cancer on July 3rd, 2015. July 3rd, 2015. I was in Morristown, New Jersey. I'd actually planned like a little East Coast tour. I went to Boston, I went to New York, et cetera, et cetera. And I kept going to hospitals there. Like it wasn't like I kept feeling sick. I got to Boston, was in the hospital then. I left Boston, went to New York, was in the hospital in New York, left New York, went to Jersey, and my cousin took me to the hospital there, and I was there for a week, and then they found I had cancer. Now, prior to me having cancer, it had been like 6 months of symptoms of nobody knowing what it was. They did a biopsy in the middle of June that year, obviously. June 15, they came back with the results, and they found out I had cancer. Now, I was cool with the fact that it was cancer. Why? Because I had 6 months of symptoms and nobody knew what it was. And that could be confusing, that could be scary, that could be like overwhelming. But I just viewed it like, yo, this is it. Okay, now I have an answer to my questions. Now I have to fight that. So I asked the doctor what I should do. He's like, well, do you live in Jersey? I was like, no, of course not. He's like, all right, well, you got to go back home. So I left New Jersey July 5th, 2015. And I had to learn what a cancer doctor was called. So I figured that out. It was called an oncologist. And so I called the hospital and was like, yo, I have cancer. I need to figure out when I can see an oncologist. They're like, well, it's going to be 8 weeks. And I was like, oh, no, that's not going to work. So I was chilling, and then I went to the ER, and I told him, I was like, I have ascites in my stomach. Ascites is like excess fluid that fills up in your belly. And it's so you pretty much look 3 months pregnant, you know what I'm saying? And like your belly's just pushed out to the max, filled with fluid. I told him I have ascites, and I need to be admitted. If I don't get admitted, I'm gonna die. And they admitted me, and I stayed in the hospital for 50 days. And in those 50 days, I went through the gamut of everything. I started chemo there. That was the first thing. I was there for a long time before they even decided to do chemo because they didn't know if it had spread to my lungs. It had. And so I was scared because I'm not going to say I never went through it by myself. I had a partner at the time supporting me. I had, I had the comedy community in Los Angeles supporting me. So I had a good amount of support. I had my family supporting me from afar. So I was supported and loved. Fast forward, I get out of the hospital. They told me I have a year left to live in the hospital, and I knew right then and there. I was like, that's not gonna work. I don't see myself dying in 2016. It's not. No, that's not how it's gonna go. And so that mindset was just locked in right then and there. Does that make sense? Like I knew that I had to go further. You ever remember you're a kid and your parents told you something and you're like, but there has to be a different way. There has to be a better way, right? Whether it was making your bed or whether it was a major you chose, like, no, there has to be a better way than just doing what you're telling me, right? And it's though that type of mindset and those people who think like that are what move the human race forward. Is people who look at this set of problems and they're like, everyone's saying, well, we've been doing this from 0 to 290. Well, there's no other way. And someone's like, I think there's another way. And they going against the masses and they end up proving them wrong. History remembers them and that the masses who put them down as idiots. So that's always what's giving me high. Fast forward, okay? Now we're at the end of 2015, January 2016. January 2016, my friends decided to make a Kickstarter. They said, what do you want? I said, well, I got everything I really need. I've traveled, I've lived life, I'm pretty good. They're like, what do you want? I was like, well, I want to make a special. They're like, well, let's make it special. I was like, cool. So we made a Kickstarter. The goal is to get $5,000. We surpassed that, went and got $55,000. So we got that, and it went viral, and it caught the producers of Ellen. Ellen's people reached out, and I just did chemo. So I was like, yeah, whatever, dude. I'm not in the mood to talk. Can you just whatever. I'm not in the mood for jokes. They're like, what? I'm like, yeah, I got to go. I hung up on the producers. Anyways, they reached back out a couple of days later. They're like, hey, no, this is serious. This is the Ellen show. We'd like to know if you want to be on. I was like, cool. I interviewed with a couple producers, like 4 or 5 producers. And then I was on the show. And then I got, Ellen hooked me up with the HBO special. And then the special came out on my birthday of 2016. And that was that. Or so I thought. Because a month and a half later, not even a month and a half later, like a little over a month, some comic came out the woodwork and was like, Quincy Jones is faking cancer. And like my world sort of like came crumbling down. Because it was a statement that was said that obviously wasn't true. But the randomness that it came from was just it was like ridiculous. And that wasn't it. It spread all over the comedy community. There were Reddit threads about it. There was every comedy scene I went to was like, oh, is he faking cancer? Blah, blah, blah. And I was like, wow. And I was hurt. And I went to like a deep, dark place. And then I went on like an Eat, Pray, Love trip, you know what I'm saying? Like in 2017 and traveled around Europe and Africa. And I came back, I was like, oh, I'm ready. It's going to be great. And it was good. And then that's kind of like the story of what I've done.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like you said, you kind of just seized your opportunity. You had a bunch of negative things in life. So I kind of want to know really what kept you just motivated to like stay consistent and really just keep on doing comedy when, life wasn't really going your way.
Well, comedy is what I dedicated myself to. I've been doing comedy 10 years now, but at the time I think I was not 2010, 11, 12, 13. So I'd been like 6, 7 years in, and so I'd been doing comedy, and like that was just that stubborn, like the desire to prove people wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then I looked up the studies that they cited for who lives only an average of a year. And I was like, oh yeah, no, I'm going to beat that. There's just that belief in yourself. You know what I'm saying? That belief in the plan of the creator. And it was like, yo, that's not how my story ends. I don't know how it ends or where it ends or what age I'll be, but I know I'm not going to end it a year later. And so it was just that I was willing to do whatever, juicing, yoga, and anything and everything it took, I was down to do. Why? Because that was my job. Beating these odds became my job, and I became obsessed with my job. I was like, anything.
So you talked about the rumor that some person put out there about you. What helped you get through it? Like you said, your trip. I mean, did you have a lot of love still from your fans?
You know, I think it was stubbornness. It was stubbornness that made me keep going. Because it was like, yeah, there was like, well, damn, they're going to say this. Why? It's like, but that's my job. You know what I'm saying? My job was to fight cancer. That's my job now to this day. So I keep doing that, keep showing up, keep going to treatment. Were there times where I felt like not doing it? Yeah, of course. I don't want to do it. It's not fun. Chemo, there's no glamour or glory in that, but that's part of the job. You don't get to get on Ellen and not do chemo. So when all people say like, oh, I wish Ellen would give me HBO special, it's like, really? Do you think you could survive like 7 rounds of aggressive chemo? You know what I'm saying? For 5 hours a pop? Could you do that every 3 weeks? Could you do chemo for the rest of your life every 3 weeks for an HBO special? The answer is probably no. And so like, that's why people get, I've never worried myself or concerned myself when people get things that I want, because I don't know the backstory behind it, And in this case, people knew the backstory and they still were hating. So it goes to show you hating has no limitation. There ain't nothing to do with cancer. That's how bitter some comedians are. They're like, oh, this guy has cancer. I'm going to attack him now. Get your own stuff. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. They just don't want to see you succeed, man.
Listen, there's going to be a lot of people who don't want to see you succeed. There's going to be a lot of people trying to get you to conform. You get what I'm saying? And in some cases, you may have to conform for survival. You may have to conform for a paycheck. But that doesn't define who you are. And that's what I had to learn. Conformity doesn't define who I am. It just means I'm participating by the rules that in the society that I'm in. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Like, we all want to do our own things. We all wish we had the freedom to do our things. But why don't we do it? Because we don't want to be judged, right? But you're always going to be judged. Someone's always going to look at you and be like, I got her all figured out. Kylie, right? I got her all figured out. Yep, look at her. Long blonde hair, blue eyes. Probably was a cheerleader somewhere in Pasto or something like that. Someone would be like, oh, and that may be your story, that may not be.
That is too close to being real.
No one knows Kylie except Kylie and Kylie's family and her friends. Nobody knows Kylie more than Kylie. And it's not true, or it may be true, and it doesn't matter because these people are just projecting onto you a reason to dislike you. There's always going to be someone who doesn't like you. Your job is to not give them a valid reason to. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, there's always going to be someone who just has it out for you. Why? They're projecting some blonde in 3rd grade rejected them, and now they're like, man, F blondes, man. I don't know. Yeah. F muscle dude with glasses, man. I don't like that dude. It's like, all right, but that's on them. And sometimes you got to learn to let things that people project and you just sort of roll off.
Yeah.
Because someone's always going to do that. You're going to go to job interviews. You're going to go to professors. They're going to look,
So cute. Do you have any motto that you have used throughout your whole life to get you through things?
Oh, my whole life motto? My whole life motto is I try to make a difference as quick as I try to make a dollar. You know what I'm saying? That's my whole life motto. But I really just try and live and let live, man. Just don't let anybody, I don't judge anybody. My mom raised me as nobody's better than you and you're not better than anybody. So treat everyone the same. And that goes across the board. I've met a lot of popular people and I bust their balls like I bust my friends' balls back home. You know what I'm saying? And that's the way it is. And I just don't view anyone as better than me. There are people who are different than me for sure. We're going to be mad at someone. Am I going to be worried about someone being different? That doesn't make sense. Right? Guys like, so there's going to be people with more money. There's going to be someone with a an attractive person or all more materialistic stuff. And I'm not gonna let that, because that doesn't define them. Those are just accessories. Who is the person? A lot of people can't answer that question. As long as I know who I am, that's what helps me sleep at night. Does that make sense?
Yep, absolutely.
Absolutely.
I don't know. I might be rambling. I don't know. I apologize. But that's what gives me peace of mind. I could always look at. I live in Los Angeles, California, man. I live in downtown LA. I'm a couple blocks from Staples Center, right? I can see it from my house, And so I look at it. There's people in my apartment building with Teslas and Porsches and all these like crazy cars, like BMWs and Benzes. I drive a little Honda CRV. I'm like, man, do I belong here? And the minute you start asking yourself, do you belong here? Remember that you're at exactly where you're supposed to be at. Mm-hmm. And when you're not supposed to be there, you'll move on. And it'll be effortless and easy to move on. Like that's what I really believe. Like, okay, cool, you're here. You might have to repeat a class. It might be uncomfortable. You might be embarrassed. You might even feel ashamed or whatever for anything. But you're there. You'll be there until you learn what you're supposed to learn. And then you can move on so that way you don't make the same mistakes twice. Go ahead.
Well, how would you define leadership? And what have you learned about your leadership to yourself and others throughout your journey?
I never wanted to be a leader. Mm-hmm. I never wanted, because as a leader, you're under scrutiny. You're under a microscope. Everything. This leader on the court. Just point guard. When everyone wins, it's the team wins, and when everyone loses, it's your fault. So the glory is to share, and the blame is direct. So I never really wanted that, but sometimes it just happens. You might have a stronger voice. People might look towards you. What does Kylie think? What does Tom think? And you're like, okay, I didn't. So being a leader to me means having a plan, executing that plan, but being open to more information and correction.
Would you say that your experience with being able to share your story through Ellen and your HBO special help you feel like a leader with other people that are going through struggles like you have? Like you being able to share your story, do you believe that has been able to define you as a leader? To come out, go hard in life, make sure you live your life to the fullest no matter what kind of issues arise?
Most definitely.
Mm-hmm.
I think unbeknownst to me at the time, that a lot of people were working towards finding a cure for mesothelioma. Organizations like Cure Meso or the Brockman Foundation in Baltimore. A lot of places are working towards trying to find cures and helping people. And so I was able to meet these people, and I realized I'm just the spokesperson for this disease. Because a lot of people get diagnosed with cancer. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people get diagnosed with cancer. Not everyone gets an HBO special. Not everyone with cancer gets on Ellen. So once I got those blessings, it was my duty to provide information and try and be optimistic and provide my perspective on how to combat, how to deal with those things. And so sometimes being a leader just ends up being placed in you. You're not actively seeking it out. How many times do you know a person at a party trying to organize, okay, guys, we're gonna play beer pong. I need everyone in line, and no one's listening. Everyone's milling about. Everyone's like, whatever it is, we're gonna do. Okay, guys, then we're gonna move to the backyard. We're gonna do cornhole, and then then we're gonna do guys versus girls. I was like, shut up, dude. No one's listening to you. There's that dude who tries to be a leader, and then there's a person that makes a suggestion that everyone listens. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Be the person who makes a suggestion, everyone listens, and people want you to lead. Let people ask you to be a leader. Don't assume that you are. Or take charge when no one's doing it. That's also how you become a leader. So that's how I define leadership. I don't mean to ramble. I know we only got 30.
Oh, no, absolutely. Can you share one of your most cherished memories from your college days?
I had like a lot of amazing professors, the staff there. I remember hanging out at the CERC. I remember, when, Andre was a student. You know what I'm saying? That's how far back I go. I know him when he was a student. And I look fondly back at Central Washington. You know, I dream of one day maybe going back to school, and maybe I'll go back, you know, to Central, you know, or do some classes online. Who knows? But
Mhm.
I love Central, my time there, and I realized that even the times I didn't love it, I was supposed to learn lessons, and I learned them. So I moved on. So I always view everywhere I'm at as a blessing and look for the lesson. You know.
Yeah, I like that.
I like that too. And like, I just have a question on like, speaking of Central, like, what advice would you give students that, you know, maybe not have it all planned out yet, are still trying to struggling to get by right now? What would you tell them?
You know, I'd say that nobody knows anything about you but you. Not your teachers, not your family, not guidance counselors. You know what you want to do. And so when we're children, we have wild ideas, and adults try and temper those ideas. And they think what they're doing is trying to spare us from getting hurt or crushed. But the fact of the matter is, they're killing our ideas, they're killing our creativity. And so we sort of settled into these roles of getting a business degree, or unless maybe your dad was a successful business, you want to get a business degree, whatever. But like sometimes people want to be painters. And because capitalism is such, you know, what society's ran on, people, your parents are like, well, how will it make you money? How will you pay rent? And I give you the cliche saying like, oh, if you do what you love, if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. And that's kind of true. I love comedy. Do I love everything about comedy? No, of course not. There's politics in anything you're going to do. But guess what? The politics in comedy, I could deal with more than the politics of me working an office job. Is the money consistent? No. Do I travel all the time? No, of course not. And when we're looking at stuff, we always want to look at the best possible scenario. My goal is, if you're a college student, I tell like this: whatever you want to do you love it? Does it make you happy? Don't just do stuff for a paycheck, because that means you could be bought. You could be bought. And once they know they can buy you and you have a price, they'll bribe you every single time. So do what makes you happy. Do what you love, and then figure that out. Money comes. Money will always come. Money always goes. You saw the government just printed up 484 billion, trillion, billion? Was it billion? I don't know. They printed up because money's not real. You don't get to be broke and create money. Can you create money, Tom?
Find my way.
Carly, can you create money?
No.
No, so money is not real. It just circulates. It's like energy. It just circulates, and it doesn't define or make it. Some people have more money than you. Great. We're all college students. We're all broke. We've all been there. But no one's better than you. So just keep doing you. Learn who you are. Understand what you want to do. And then, you know, maybe get a degree. Maybe not. Maybe school's not for you. Maybe trade school's for you. There is no set way. There's no right way. No one has all the answers. We're all guessing it and shooting from the hip. Teachers are doing it. Other students are doing it. People look like they know that they have no idea. Nobody knows what they're doing. I've been out of college 10 years. I have no idea what I'm doing. And so I keep learning. I just look for the lesson, dude. And as long as I look for the lesson, I'll never sit up and look at a situation bitterly, be like, you wasted my time. That's what people love to say. You wasted my time. Kylie, why'd you waste my time? And in fact, you're not wasting your time. You're supposed to learn something. It's not always going to be glamorous. It's not always going to be fun. Learn what you're supposed to learn so you can move on out of there. And that's what I did. I learned that Central wasn't for me at that time. And I left school. It was like, I can no longer do this. I keep getting in trouble. I got to get out of here. And so I left. And that's what I feel is the most important, that you got to learn how to do.
Is there an experience or a point in time when you knew you wanted to pursue comedy, stand-up comedy?
I mean, as a little kid, because here's the thing, I didn't grow up with like comedy albums in the house. You know what I'm saying? Like I grew up, my mom was kind of just like matter of fact. My mom was like one of the people I described just now. She wasn't a dream killer, but she definitely did make me think critically about what I wanted to do and make sure that I was able to be articulate enough to express that. I think, I'm sorry, what was the question you asked me, Kylie? I'll run it back.
Do you have a certain point in time when you knew you wanted to pursue comedy?
I remember as a kid watching Chris Rock's Bigger and Blacker special, and the special N-word and niggas versus black people. And I was like, yo, I got thoughts like that. You know what I'm saying? I got thoughts like that. I could do that. And I put that thought, and I always use humor as a defense mechanism to diffuse situations. You know, things always get tense. I'm like, hey, relax, guys. What's going on? I don't need to bust chops. Let's be peace and love, right? All that stuff. And so I knew I wanted to do comedy. I knew I was going to move down. I was in Seattle at the time, and me and my partner, we went down to Los Angeles, and I went to a comedy store, and it was then I was like, I'll do whatever it takes to get there, man. I will do whatever it takes. And there's always a saying when you first move to LA that the first year it does everything it can to get rid of you. Seriously, parking tickets, crazy roommates, job troubles, relationship troubles, you know what I'm saying? Like your car, like whatever it is, those 5 things break people. People go back home all the time within the first year from LA. So I moved down here with the intention that I will do whatever it takes to stay. I will fry fries. I will sweep floors. I will do whatever it takes because this is my dream. And you have to hold on to your dream. Whatever your dream is, hold on to it tight like a miser and share it selectively because people are always going to try and snuff out your candle of a dream. But hold that dream tight and then do whatever you got to do to cultivate it and let it grow. And then that's kind of how you survive in a cynical world, holding on to your own little bit of hope and try and provide hope for others. And that's what I try and do. I understand that it's bleak. I recognize the situation, and I still try and remain positive. Every day, every Monday on Instagram, I do a social media of Manifest Mondays, you know, and there's different themes. I've been doing it for over a year now. And it's just my little bit of positivity I try and contribute. I don't care about the views. I don't care who looks at it. It's just my thoughts, my feelings, and I share that. You feel me?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, as you were saying previously, your first show was in Yakima while you were a student here, correct?
It was a comedy competition, yep.
Awesome. And then do you have a memory for the first time that you're preparing for that show? Your feelings, thoughts? Are you nervous?
Oh, you're always nervous when you go on stage. Like, I'm always nervous.
Still,
like,
yeah.
Now, because you want to do good. And I'm competitive as hell. So I'm like, I want to fucking be the best on the show. I don't care who's in the show. I'm trying to be the best. I'm not trying to do, oh, you were good. I'm trying to get the compliment in front of the headliner when I was just a guest spot, like, yo, you should have been the headliner. That's what I'm going for. I want people to want to see me perform. You know what I'm saying? And as I've been doing comedy, I'm 10 years in now. I look on that and it's like, it's always good to strive for the best, but I also recognize that comedy's changing. We're about to come out of a pandemic, and I'm not sure what comedy is going to look like. You know what I'm saying? Like, how is that going to transform? And I'm up for the challenge. I'm ready. I don't know what it's going to be like, but I'm ready.
How are you preparing for the future in that?
Ooh, patiently.
Patiently, yeah.
I mean, just like what am I good? Like, people are freaking out over a pandemic right now. It's like, it's scary for sure because there's no cure. You don't know who has it. It can be passed, and people die from it. But I think one of the bigger parts to remember is that, you know, I think one of the best parts to remember about it's the unknown. And so you can be afraid of the unknown, but you're only afraid of the unknown if you think about it negatively, right?
Absolutely.
You're not worried about the unknown if you think about it positively, right? Mm-hmm. If you're like, if someone's like, I got a surprise for you, and you hate surprise, you're like, oh, Lord, don't let it be a dude popping out a cake. Please, Lord Jesus, don't do that. I don't want that. No. But if you think positive, it's like, oh, someone may have listened to what I said and got me a surprise that I actually wanted. Okay, I'm excited about this. Let me go into this with a little more open eye. And that's what I'm going to go into the future with comedy. I'm going to be open-minded, and I'm going to learn what I got to learn. Maybe it may be online shows. Maybe whatever. I've always said the success lies right outside your comfort zone. Mm-hmm. Happiness, love, all the positive things are right outside your comfort zone. Whatever you think this is, whatever your circle is, immediate circle now, like, okay, everything, like right outside of it, right there is where like something beyond your reaches you've ever known. And most people are not open-minded enough to open up. They want to keep the same tight knit, and it's hovering right there. And they see glimpses of it, they're like, man, oh man, I thought I had someone who really loved me for me, or I thought I really got the job I wanted. No, it's like, but they weren't open enough. You have to be open to all things, good and good that you don't recognize. I get excited trying to provide positivity to people in the world. I love trying to especially college, dude. I'm not gonna lie. I hated college at Central Washington. It was different. It was politics, and I hated politics. And guess what? I had to learn politics. When I left Central, I learned politics. I was like, oh, this is everywhere in life.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? This is everywhere in life. There's a set structure everywhere in life. And when you don't abide by it or recognize it or care for it, you're a threat to that structure. Be a threat to the structure, guys. Be a threat. And it's okay to be a threat because you'll either change minds and get some, or you'll scare some people and try and shut you down. But that means you're doing what you're supposed to do, providing an alternative to the structure.
For our last question, Q, what's one thing you want CW students to take away from your life experience, your story?
I hope people take away that just because you get handed a bleak prognosis doesn't mean it's set in stone. You can change anything you want, anytime you want. You know what I'm saying? I got diagnosed with cancer at a young age, a rare form of cancer, and I got told I had a year left to live. And I looked at that and said, nah. Whatever someone projects in you have the power to say no. You could do something really not cool, you know what I'm saying? And people not like you for it, right? But that doesn't define you. Your actions don't define you. You know what I'm saying? People love to throw around words like character and integrity. It's like people with great character and integrity make huge fuck ups all the time. Does that mean they're a horrible person? Are they Jeffrey Dahmer all of a sudden? No. It just means that they had a bad, they had poor judgment. You know what I'm saying? Labels don't mean anything. Just do you, and do you comfortably, and don't let anybody try and tell you what you are. And then show love to others. Show mad love. So that way when you show mad love, if someone says they don't like you, everyone's going to look at them like they're crazy because all you do is show love. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
That's real, man. That's real.
Yeah.
Show love. It's the Brooklyn way. Isn't that what Biggie said? Show love. Show love. Be supportive. Be encouraging. And it might be viewed as corny, but whatever, dude. Everyone was viewed as corny who made it big.
Well, thank you, Q, for sharing your story and joining with us today. I know word to the Wildcats. All the Wildcats appreciate hearing your story. Tune in April 30th through May 30th for more Wildcat alumni from a variety of fields to share their leadership life lesson stories.
And for more information, please go to the Center for Leadership Community Engagement website for active links about the podcast.